From Mezclada, this is the Transcendent Farmer Podcast, created to inspire and empower the next generation of land stewards with your host, Emily Reno. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Transcendent Farmer Podcast. I am very excited to welcome you back. It's been 2 weeks since I've recorded and published an episode, and holy cow, has my life just taken such an interesting and wonderful turn. I was talking to a friend earlier this week about my experiences, and I literally fell apart because I had so much gratitude. And I to this day, I have so much gratitude for the experiences, the people that I am surrounded by. It has been such an impactful time calling in from Musquis, Coahuila, in northeastern Mexico. And it's just one of those things where I think it's sort of the before and after kind of thing. Like there was a before this trip and then there's an after this trip. And I just know things are going to be different and in such a wonderful way. I wanted to share a little bit of information about Musquis because it's such a cool and interesting place, and it's very much off the beaten path. And so I felt like for those of you who may be listening in from more rural places, I think you'll understand and appreciate this. So Musquis is known as a pueblo mágico, or a magic town, which is one of the Mexican government's way of marketing towns across the country for their uniqueness and driving tourism. This town is home to the Kickapoo and the Mascogos, both of whom originated in the eastern United States. And the Mascogos in particular, in Spanish, they can also be called Negros Mascogos. They are descendants of Black Seminoles who had fled to Indian Territory following the Seminole Wars. And it's a similar story with the Kickapoo tribe. They basically fled from the U.S. and were pushed down and down and down, and they found peace, if you will, a safe place to be here in Mexico. And so Musquis is very cool culturally because you've got the influence of these tribes as well as other folks that are living here. And I also think that it's worth mentioning because it's so close to the border with Texas in the U.S., it's somewhat of a what they call like hot area as it relates to basically drug trafficking. And there's very real danger for people around safety. And I've even seen some folks driving through town, they're wearing these face masks and they're got these, pistols in the truck. And it's a bit threatening and not something that I'm used to seeing. And it is also something that I noticed even when I wasn't here, and like in other parts of the country when we were just on the bus, you just pass these big trucks and you're like, wow, okay, this is what enforcement looks like in a different part of the world. And for folks that are, around and local, they're like, yeah, that's normal for us. So yeah, just really getting out of my comfort zone and have a very deep appreciation for the people that I've gotten to spend time with and the way that they've really opened their arms and their homes to me and teaching me lots about Mexican cooking. And I'm eating way too many tortillas, but it's so good. So yeah, highly recommend if any of you listeners out there have the opportunity to travel to Mexico. The gastronomy here is out of this world. So delicious. I'm going to change things up this week, and I want to share first, as always, a little bit of an update with regards to things that I'm building with Mezclada, but then I would like to share a list of prompts that can be helpful for you as you move into the end of the year. A couple of things that I'm working on right now, things that are in the queue. I would love for you to mark your calendars for what I think might be Minnesota's first ever wellness summit being hosted next winter. If you are passionate about mental health and well-being within the agricultural community, I welcome your participation on the planning team to pull this together and ensure that it is a successful event. And I will make sure that information with regards to what the responsibilities of serving on the planning team would look like are posted to the newsletter. So definitely sign up if you haven't already done that. The link is always included in the show notes, and then it's also just on the website, mezclada.co. There's usually a link either on the bottom of the page or on the top corner where you can sign up, and I'll make sure that Anyone who is interested can have an opportunity to participate. I imagine it being a very fun event, and all of that coordination will be happening virtually. So no travel required, just good energy and a willingness to help out. Another thing that I'm working on right now is with a good colleague of mine, Alondra Cano, who is based close to Amory, Wisconsin. We're looking at forming and we haven't finalized the name yet, but it's kind of a Latina Global Ag Entrepreneurs Network. And basically the idea was that we were thinking about building leadership pipelines and helping, our fellow rural-based Latina, entrepreneurs really just step into positions of power and have more voice and influence in our community. And we realize that a lot of us that are working in more rural spaces feel very isolated. So the idea behind this in terms of format is that we would be getting together virtually once a month and have a guest speaker come in, share resources and information that's available, whether it's related to business development, maybe to capital resources. And this is specifically designed for people that are operating within the food and ag space. We wanted to keep that niche kind of tight because there are a lot of resources that are out there for small businesses, particularly like minority businesses, and there's like the small business development centers and that kind of stuff. But we wanted to create something a little bit different and a little bit more maybe female friendly. So we're going to be looking for partners to make this possible, including sponsors. If you have any suggestions of a business or an organization, a foundation, anything like that, that you believe would be invested in the success of our Latina entrepreneurs, please let me know. Feel free to send me a note via social media or email, and I would love to hear from you. With regards to consulting work, I've been working on some really fun projects this month. November was a really awesome month for grant writing. I worked on doing some evaluation for our technical assistance providers that are involved with the North Central Regional Food Business Center, which for those of you who don't know, this is a 5-year project with the USDA to provide technical assistance to small and medium-sized businesses across North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota. We've wrapped up our first year, and we're now moving into year 2 of 5. And my role within that is evaluation. It is such a privilege and such an honor and joy to get to work on this project because I get to look at a bird's eye view of what's happening across the state and look at patterns and what people are saying are needs and basically summarizing that into different themes. And then we send that off to USDA as part of a single report every 6 months, basically. So if you happen to be a small or medium-sized food business or trying to create one, because we do a lot of work in the space of business development, so trying to create maybe a business plan or identify market opportunities, this is a free resource for you. And you have a technical assistance provider within your region. All you have to do is reach out to we have like a directory online. You can find the resources there, but you can also reach out to me too, and I can help you identify who the closest technical assistance provider would be based on where you're located. If you're in North or South Dakota, I can also refer you to my partners in those states, and then they can get you connected to folks as well. I really want to make sure that people know that that's a resource for them because it is pretty powerful, and a lot of the things that you would ordinarily pay for are being offered for free right now. The last project that I've been working on that's been really fun is the West Central Food Council, which I've been involved in for a long time. And we just had a call this morning to bring on an intern as part of that project who's going to be starting with us in December. So really bolstering our communications and marketing and just having a little bit more boots on the ground, if you will, to capture some of the stories of what the Food Council is up to and making sure that that's being well communicated with the public. Another thing that's been really exciting that I've been working on is trying to build community around podcasting. I felt a bit isolated in this work and trying to find more resources to think about how this can become a revenue stream for my business instead of just something that I do for fun and something that I hope, provides value for people. And along the way, I came across some really great resources. So I've been thinking about positioning this a lot and trying to get in front of more people. And one of the ways that I want to do that is through competitions and basically submitting the Transcendent Farmer podcast to different platforms where they're voting on, the best of in certain categories. So in that research, I came across the Podcast Academy, of which I am now a member. Very, very grateful for a scholarship that helped cover my membership, at least for this year. And as of today, I submitted to the AMBIES, which is an award for excellence in audio under the spirituality topic area. I also became a member of a new digital community called Latinas in Podcasting, which has been so helpful for resource sharing and troubleshooting on technical issues. It's been really wonderful to have such a niche group of people come together around, things that we are really passionate about, podcasting. But just that identity piece has been really wonderful to make me feel like I'm at home, among other women and other women who identify as Latina. With that, one of the things that I'm thinking a lot about right now is just wrapping the year up on a high note, right? Taking stock, reflecting, setting intentions and goals for the next year, thinking about how my aspirations for the things that I want to experience in 2025 are reflected in my financial goals. And this really served as inspiration for today's episode, which will essentially be a list of items that you can journal about to help you do the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list off these questions, and they will all be available in the show notes. So you are welcome to download them at any time, copy them, put them maybe in a note in your phone. And you're also welcome to just pause this after each question, write something down, think about it, maybe listen to this while you're going for a walk or driving, and just give yourself that space and time to reflect on the answers. So with that, here is a list of prompts that I hope provides you with a little bit more clarity around this year, and then thinking about what you want to bring into the new year and opportunities that you have to shift energy where you'd like to. So the first question, what kinds of things would I like to change from this year to the next? Number 2, what am I proud of having accomplished this year? Number 3, what are some of the goals that I have for myself in the next year that scare me a bit because it means I would have to get out of my comfort zone? Number 4, who do I already know who could help me achieve these goals? Number 5, who do I need to meet who could help me achieve these goals? Number 6, is there anything about my personal identity, thoughts, or habits that I would need to change to step into that next version of myself? Number 7, what are some of the most outlandish and wonderful experiences that I can imagine having in the next year? Number 8, how are some of the goals that I have around these experiences reflected in my weekly or monthly budget? If this seems unrealistic or unobtainable, what do I need to change to reach those goals? Now, I'd like you to think about your physical space and your belongings as a reflection of who you are and the energy that you attract into your life. Are there any items that I can donate, get rid of, and or sell to create more space in my life for abundance? Right? We're thinking about clearing out the old, bringing in the new. You may consider moving around your furniture, maybe some artwork. Maybe you have plants, or maybe you'd like to buy some plants. Think about what you are looking at first thing in the morning, right before you go to bed. How is that influencing your subconscious? Next, I'd like you to think about identifying opportunities to shift this. Of course, taking into account any factors that might relate to sharing your space. I'm sure there are many of you out there that don't live alone. Whether you have children, you have a partner, some of those decisions are going to have to be shared, and that's just a reality of life. But with that, I want to wish you a lovely holiday season ahead. Give yourself what you need first. Fill up your cup always. Find moments for hygge, right? Which kind of means coziness, downtime, reflection. And most of all, enjoy the process, right? Don't worry so much about how quickly you achieve these goals. Just have fun, enjoy yourself, and enjoy life. All right, we'll catch you in the next episode. If you love this conversation as much as we did, feel free to share the love by passing it along to a friend or fellow farmer, and be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss another episode. Until next time, friends.